Samsung just released their first ever Ultra Foldable with the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra, and I'm here to analyze whether or not this is actually an Ultra phone, or if it's simply another foldable that just slapped the Ultra branding onto its back. You know, back in the day, Ultra phones were the pinnacle of smartphones. That was until foldables came along and introduced an even higher tier, and kind of changed the game as well, because they had to literally fold in half. They also had to compromise. The cameras were way worse, the batteries were smaller, the displays were dimmer, and sometimes the performance was also downgraded. So if you wanted the top of the line performance, then you went with a regular phone, an Ultra even. But if you wanted something that unfolds into a tablet, you went with a foldable and accepted the compromises. So what actually makes an Ultra phone? Well, every single component needs to be top-notch. Top-notch cameras, top-notch battery, top-notch performance, top-notch everything really. And for a foldable to be called an Ultra, it needs to be all of that, and also a top-notch foldable, of course. So, did Samsung pull this off? Well, I'm gonna go through 5 different categories to see if they actually managed to do it. Although there's one spec where Samsung completely dropped the ball, and there's also a sneaky reason why they slapped Ultra on this thing that's actually got nothing to do with specs, and I'll get to both of those. But let me start with the display. Is this display worthy of an Ultra name? Well, honestly, it kinda is. You see, Samsung made a ton of improvements here, and there are 3 major changes in particular. The first is that they reduced the depth of the crease considerably, to the point where it's almost invisible now. If I put it against the Z Fold 7, you can see just how big of a difference there is. And it's actually really similar to the crease on the OPPO Find N6, currently the most creaseless foldables out there. To achieve this, Samsung is using a tech called Flex Titanium. Essentially, you have a thin titanium alloy film under the OLED display panel, and then also a flexible titanium plate underneath, which results in a flatter, stronger, and almost crease-free display. But wait, there's more. Because the second improvement is a new anti-reflective coating, so you get way less reflections compared to the Z Fold 7, and about as anti-reflective as the OPPO Find N6 is, which is really good. But there's actually one last display improvement that's actually the biggest one by far, and that is the brightness. Both the internal and the external screen can now go up to 3000 nits now from the previous 2600. It doesn't seem like much on paper, but when I viewed this in person against the Z Fold 7, oh man, the difference was honestly night and day. The Fold 8 Ultra screen just popped like nothing I've seen on a foldable before. And that is why I said that this may just be the best display ever on a foldable. Which means that you should 100% pair it with a worthy wallpaper. Ours are 8K in quality, made by our team of close to 40 talented designers. And our latest packs, Seaside Sanctuary by Walrod and Oval Oscillations by Michael, look absolutely stunning. You can get yours today from WallpaperZ.com. So the display is definitely worthy of the Ultra name, but what about the cameras? Well, this is where it gets a bit weird. You see, the main camera is the same as on the Z Fold 7. That's a 200 megapixel sensor that's actually the same one as on the S26 Ultra. So that one is definitely Ultra level. And so is the new ultra-wide, which is now 50 megapixels in resolution. And it's also the same sensor that you can find on the S26 Ultra. But where Samsung really dropped the ball is that telephoto, because it's still that same 10 megapixel 3x module with an insanely small 1/3.94 inch sensor. That is actually smaller than even the front-facing camera, which is 1/3 inch. That's honestly the most disappointing part of this phone, as other foldables like the OPPO Find N6, they use a much larger 50 megapixel sensor that's 1/2.75 inch in size, and with 3x optical zoom for much better image quality overall. But on the bright side, we do actually get a lot of ultra camera features, like 8K video recording that's now even smoother, APV recording as well for lossless quality, and also a brand new Cine LUT feature that lets you apply LUTs to your footage in real time, and that you actually look really good. So is the camera worthy of the Ultra name? Well, not entirely, but almost, as it's still an improvement over the Fold 7s, and now it's got 2 out of the 3 sensors to match the S26 Ultras. Before it was just 1. So what about the performance? Is this Ultra level? Well, almost. we do get the latest and greatest Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy chip for around 39% faster NPU, a 24% faster GPU, and a 19% faster CPU compared to the Fold 7, as well as either 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM depending on your storage configuration. And we also lack a vapor chamber like we do see on other foldables like the OPPO Find N6 or the Honor Magic V6, and of course the S26 Ultra has it as well. So while you are getting the fastest chip possible, I think the sustained performance will actually suffer a bit without it. The Z Fold 7, for example, overheated quite often outdoors and its display did dim quite a lot. So we'll have to wait and see if this is also an issue on the Fold 8 Ultra, now that we have an even brighter screen. So is the performance worthy of that Ultra name? Almost. That's 3 down, 2 to go, plus that sneaky Ultra reason that I still have to explain at the end. So what about the battery life? Is this top-notch? Well, Samsung did actually improve a ton here. First, they increased the capacity to 5,000 mAh from 4,400. That's for the first time since the Galaxy Z Fold 3. And also for the first time, they are finally using silicon carbon. Now, the capacity isn't quite as large as on other foldables like the OPPO Find N6 at 6,000 mAh or the Honor Magic V6 at up to 7,150 for the China-only version. And I'm also assuming that since this is Samsung's first silicon carbon battery, this is probably the reason why. However, despite all of this, even the Z Fold 7's mere 4,400 mAh battery did actually last me for a full day of use. So I'm assuming that the Z Fold 8 Ultra will do at least as well. Stay tuned for the full review as I will be testing that long term. Now, aside from the battery itself, the charging speeds have also been improved to 45 watts from the previous 25 watts and 20 watts wireless from 15. So now you can charge the Z Fold 8 Ultra to about 67% in just 30 minutes, which is really good, although not quite as good as the OPPO Find N6, which can do 75% in the same time. So is this battery worthy of the Ultra name? Well, it actually matches the S26 Ultra in capacity and charging speeds, so in that case, I would say yes. But what about the design? Is this one worthy of the Ultra name? Well, I think it is. You see, the Fold 7 was already the world's thinnest and lightest foldable. The Fold 8 Ultra keeps that same 215 grams of weight, but it is now even thinner, 4.1 millimeters when open compared to 4.2. And interestingly enough, the thickness when closed is actually still 8.9 millimeters thick. Now, that's due to the black rubber seal that protects the phone, which is now thicker and that also makes it easier to open the phone. However, in your pocket, you won't really feel the difference. Although the metal body is thinner, the overall feel and overall thickness is the same. But that still makes this the world's thinnest foldable once again. Now, I know that Honor claims 4 millimeters of thickness on the Magic V6, but that is only on the white version. The rest are supposed to be 4.1, but when we measured it, it was much thicker than that. So I do believe that this is the thinnest foldable out right now, which does make it worthy of the Ultra name. So really, the only things that could make this even better would be a larger battery, a better telephoto module, a vapor chamber, and maybe S Pen support. Like, I don't really use the S Pen, so I don't really care about that, but a lot of competitor foldables do actually have S Pen support or pen support. Maybe something that Samsung would be adding with the Z Fold 9 Ultra if there's enough demand. Leave a comment down below. But here's the thing, and this is that sneaky reason that I promised you at the beginning of the video. The true reason why Samsung even called this the Z Fold 8 Ultra isn't because of all the improvements. It's actually because of the smaller Z Fold 8. You see, there were plenty of rumors that Samsung was going to be calling this the Z Fold 8 Wide and then keep this one as the Z Fold 8, but Samsung changed their minds last minute, and I think that's fine, as the Z Fold 8 Ultra does actually offer more than the standard Fold 8. You get an even larger screen, a larger battery, a better main camera, and that 3x photo module as well. And then there's Apple that's set to be launching their first foldable, rumored to be called the iPhone Ultra. So Samsung will of course want their own Ultra foldable as well, one that's superior in a lot of ways, with an extra camera module, a bigger display, a thinner body, and also a lighter build. So yeah, I feel like that was also a factor, but I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Do you think the Z Fold 8 Ultra is actually worthy of the Ultra name or not? Stay tuned for my review after I use this for a bit longer. And if you want to purchase the Z Fold 8 Ultra right now, you can actually get a really good discount by using the exclusive links below, and they also help support the channel. You can also support the channel by getting one of these really awesome wallpapers at wallpaperz.com. I'm Daniel, this is ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.